All right, so this is Kenny Santos out of Toronto, Canada for KennySantos.com. And here's a multi-level marketing success tip. And it's not just for multi-level marketing. This can be taken in any context if you want to be successful. It's about never giving up and holding on, till the very, very end. And basically, I just watched a fight, and when I say a fight, it was an organized fight. It was mixed martial arts. I like watching that stuff, especially if it's the UFC. Just watch Anderson Silva break his leg against Chris Weidman. I mean, gruesome break. That's not what this is about, actually. I watched that a couple days ago, but there's this story from someone that you may not know. His name is Ryan Benoit, and he's one of those guys that wanted to become a mixed martial artist, and he is a mixed martial artist. He is a professional fighter, but he hadn't had his full, big break yet. He wasn't making enough as a fighter to support himself, so he needed a job. But because he wanted to kind of, how do I say it, be a full-time fighter, he was just keep getting the job to assist in making ends meet. And the guy, for 11 months, made not even 20 grand or something like that. I'll actually include a link to the article where I heard about this story, where the guy, he made 20 grand in basically the last year, and he had this chance to fight in the UFC, which, if you don't know, is a really big deal. It's almost a big break. But the thing is that he had to go out of his comfort zone to do so. He couldn't afford to get to the event, so he had to drive there. It was in a different weight class, so he's used to fighting at 135. He had to drop another 10 pounds to make weight, and so it was really out of his comfort zone. However, you know what? He wanted it bad enough that he actually took the fight. Now, here's the thing, is that he was on the main card, and he had signed to, to fight. He'd make $8,000, which, by the way, it would be, some pretty good money for him. And if he won the fight, he'd make another $8,000. So in that one night, he had the possibility of making, I don't know, 80%, 16,000, 80% of what he made the entire year. So of course he wanted to take that fight, even though it was very, very inconvenient for him. Extremely inconvenient. Don't know where he drove from. You'll find it in the article. Long story short is that he made the weight. And you know what? Making weight is not easy, all right? Just to make weight for your own weight class takes a lot of work. But he had to drop another 10 pounds, so you know what? The guy wanted it bad. Anyway, he ends up losing the fight. And he was so disappointed, all right? So incredibly disappointed. His opponent basically made him give up, made him, it's called tapping out. And you know what's interesting is that even though he lost the fight, he was so dejected. Now, we're talking about, he's a fight fan. He's a fighter, and he's at a UFC live event. He was so disappointed that he couldn't watch the rest of the matches. And these matches were of other fighters that he looked up to, but he was just so disappointed because he wanted to make that $16,000. Who knows what he needed the money for? I mean, the guy was just hanging on by his fingernails, had a newborn baby at home, newlywed wife. I mean, you know what? It would have been great for him. Now, things really, really turned around the next morning when he got a phone call from his manager. It might have been not the next morning or whatever, later on that night, but he found out that the fight that he had just had was qualified and was picked for fight of the night. And what that means is that each fighter gets a $50,000 bonus. So at this point in the conversation, he has that $8,000. He also has that $50,000 staggering bonus, $58,000. But it gets even better than that. You see, his opponent that he was fighting did not make the weight. All right, did not make the 125 pound weight. So that means he's not entitled to get that bonus. He actually got his opponent's bonus as well. So he got his $50,000 bonus. He got his opponent's $50,000 bonus. That's $100,000, and he got that $8,000 to start the fight, or to even fight in the first place. He didn't win the fight. However, instead of making the $16,000 that he was hoping for, he made $108,000. And the reason why I'm telling you this is that you never know when life is going to turn around. It could happen in an instant, where all of a sudden things have completely turned around. You are one person away from your success in multi-level marketing. All right. You may want to get to the next rank and you may think to yourself, wow, I don't know how I'm going to get there. Realize this. If you find one superstar that looks at your business and says, wow, this is absolutely amazing, and all of a sudden that excitement gets started, that could be a runaway leg for you. It could be the start of your business, and that excitement will actually carry on into you, into your other legs, and make things absolutely explode. And there's this great quote that I was looking up, and it says this. It says, the moment you're ready to quit is usually the moment right before the miracle happens. And you know what? In my opinion, that was a miracle. I mean, it wasn't like, the Red Sea parting or anything, but you asked Ryan Benoit what he thought when he got that phone call and realized he wasn't going to make $8,000. He was actually going to make $108,000. To him, that was a miracle, and I'm super, super excited. I'll leave a link to that article because I love stories like this, and also realize that if you got value from that, and I'm sure you did, that also realize that, if I'm also going to put another link in the description of this video, and it's basically the 7 deadly sins of multi-level marketing, and more importantly, how to avoid them. All right, that's going to be a free download for you. All you got to do is put your name and email in. All right, thanks a lot, and create a wonderful day. And more importantly, never, ever give up. Take care.